Togbi has been a powerful pillar in the development of our dear nation, and as a distinguished businessman and a respected traditional ruler who has served as president of the Volta Regional House of Chiefs and also the immediate past president of the National House of Chiefs. He's never shied away, as I said, from expressing his views on critical national issues. Ghana is the only country we have. We must therefore work hard and do all we can to protect it from abuse from whichever quarters that may come. Ladies and gentlemen, this government, the NPP government, has completely lost control of the fight against corruption. President Akufo-Addo, in his inaugural address, promised to protect the public purse. Today, even that public purse cannot be found. The revelations in the Auditor General's report for 2021 is simply a microcosm of the real extent of the seeming institutionalization of corruption under this administration. I'm glad that you're using this festival to draw attention to this important national issue that requires the support of all citizens to address. The economic hardship in Ghana today is unbearable. Cost of living has increased significantly because of rising inflation. Prices are changing in the market every day, and this makes it very difficult for the ordinary Ghanaian to survive. To make matters worse, the cost of agricultural inputs is also rising consistently at a very fast pace.
So there you had former President John Dramani Mahama saying that President Akufo-Addo's promise to protect the public purse has not materialized. In fact, he says that the purse is missing. He makes specific reference to President Akufo-Addo's comments during his inaugural address in 2017. To pave way for the discussion ahead and to refresh your minds, let's take a listen to President Akufo-Addo's comments during his inaugural address, and then we'll come back to the conversation.
State coffers are not spoiled for the party that wins an election, but resources for the country's social and economic development. I shall protect the public purse by insisting on value for money in all transactions. Public service is just that, service and not an avenue for making money. Money is to be made in the private sector, not the public, and measures will be put in place to ensure this. We must create wealth and restore happiness to our nation. We can only do this when we have an educated and skilled population that is capable of competing in the global economy. We must expand our horizons and embrace science and technology as critical tools for our development. We believe that the business of government is to govern. Ours is to set fair rules. We will provide vision and direction and shine the light down the path of our entrepreneurs and farmers.
That was President Akufo-Addo during his inaugural address. I'm sure still very fresh in most minds. This evening on the show, we are going to interrogate these issues that the former president raised. We want to find out, are his comments justified or not? Have the NPP and NDC shown enough commitment to fighting corruption in this country? Is there any hope for this country in dealing with corruption and corruption-related activities? We're going to be finding answers to these issues by speaking with Honorable Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed, who is Member of Parliament, Tamale Central, from the NDC. We're also going to be speaking with Nana Obiri Boahin, former General Secretary for the NPP. Let's take a quick break and come back to this discussion. Please draw closer to your TV. I'm going to be opening the phone lines and you can call in. Let me talk to Fred right now. Hello, good evening, Honorable Murtala Mohammed. I understand you're on the line. If you can hear me, please respond. Yes, Honorable, we're trying to position your camera properly.
Okay.
Studio, are we good? Gabi, on the landscape. Honorable, they say you should make the thing landscape. So turn it. Honorable, they say you should enable
Yeah.
auto rotate and turn the phone landscape. Turn the
Okay,
phone.
that's fine.
Correct. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's fine.
Panning is corner. Just move the camera a little bit so you're in the middle. You're like at the corner of the. Sorry. This is better. This is better. Thank you so much. Have we checked Obribuahin? Welcome back to Spotlight, and thank you for staying with us. I mentioned before we went on that break that this evening we're going to interrogate the issues surrounding former President John Dramani Mahama's comment about corruption in the NPP government. We want to find out, is he even justified to make that comment, and is the NPP doing enough to fight corruption? Did the NDC do enough to fight corruption during their tenure? And is this country going to see better days where corruption is concerned? That's what we're discussing this evening. We're speaking with Honorable Murtala Mohammed, NDC Member of Parliament for Tamale Central. Also, Nana Obiri-Boahin, who's former Secretary General for the NPP. Gentlemen, welcome to Spotlight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic. I'll come to you in a moment. But for those who are watching on the screen right now, we're going to be displaying Ghana's Corruption Perception Index by Transparency International since 2012. That should be rolling on your screen presently. You can see 2012, 2014, also 2016, 2018, 2022, still not concluded, of course. So those of you who may not be conversant with the index, higher figures mean better performance. So you can see like 2012. The next bar, of course, is 2013. Then there's 2014. And then there's 2015, then 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Then we go to 2021. And 2022, you see, is not concluded yet. But let me just come in studio. I mentioned I'm going to be opening the phone lines shortly, so you at home can call in. But let me just come in studio and speak with our guest tonight. If you look at the period and the review by Transparency International, you will see that in fact, the NDC scored higher marks relative to the NPP, but it's just about a small margin. Okay, let me come to Honorable Murtala Mohammed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, yes, we do see that according to Transparency International, the NDC did score higher marks. But the question here is, the threshold is just about 100 points. Is it even enough to give you any moral right to say that you did better where corruption is concerned?
Well, let me say good evening to you and good evening to on the other side of the discussion. When you say that the NDC scored higher marks, but it was just a small margin, what do you mean? 48 is not a small margin against 41. And if you like, the latest with 3. That is a margin of 5. That is not small. So give credit to the NDC that if it has to do with the Transparency International assessment of how corrupt governments are, I don't think that we have had what we are experiencing under this government. The lowest that the NDC scored in 2016 was 43, and that becomes the highest of the scores that this government has had so far. The NDC scored the highest ever in 2014, which was 48. The reason why it dropped from 48 in 2014 to 43 in 2016 was because of the falsehood that this NPP government, then in opposition, peddled. The lies they told the people of this country as to how corrupt the NDC was. The fact that they lied, that President Mahama owned a fleet of hotels in Dubai, and people actually believe that, if it has to do with the determination to fight corruption, the NDC stands tall. Individuals, some of them who are virtually can be described as family relations or brothers of President Mahama. And in this, I'm making reference to my former boss, Honorable Abu Gapele, was prosecuted and convicted. So in terms of what the NDC has done in terms of fighting corruption, and what this corrupt government, President Nana Ado's administration has done, the NDC stands tall. The lowest the NDC scored is the highest this government has scored.
Transparency International's data, the accusations you level against the NPP, as other people will level similar accusations against the NDC.
If I can borrow President Kufuor's own assessment, President Kufuor said that corruption started from Adam. The difference. Hello?
Yes, please, I'm listening.
There's so much noise coming in. I mean, if I can borrow President Kufuor's infamous statement, because I don't describe it as a famous statement, where he said that corruption started from Adam. The difference between President Kufuor's administration, President Mills's administration, President Rawlings's administration, President Kufuor, Buzi, Achampong, Afrifa, the difference between, and President Muhammad, the difference between those administrations and President Nana Ado's administration is that unfortunately President Nana Ado has perfected corruption. Look, don't take the NDC's position on how we were determined in fighting corruption. Take the position of organizations and institutions who have nothing to do with the NDC, and in fact, who, if they have friends in our political discourse, can best be described as friends to the NPP and the Buza Danko tradition. I'm talking about the Afro-barometer of the CDD. The two consecutive Afro-barometers of the CDD conducted all points out to the fact that this government is the most corrupt ever in our history. And in fact, if you listen to Professor Jimabudu, who can be described as a friend to President Nana Ado and a sympathizer of the NPP, when they ask him about...
I think we're having some issues there with your line, Honorable, but I'll stabilize it and get back to you shortly. We still have a lot of questions to go through with you. Let me check if we have Nana Obri Buahin on the line yet. Nana, good evening. Okay, I don't think we have your line there, so we're going to try to re-establish a connection. But if you just joined us and you're watching this, we are discussing corruption under both the NDC and the NPP on the back of comments made by former President Mahama at the Asogli State Deba. We're just trying to see if his comments are substantiable and if either party under their administration has done significantly well enough to fight this corruption menace that seems to be gripping Ghana pretty often. The phone lines, if you want to join in, 02047384881. That's 02047384881. Also 055-033-1511. That's 055-033-1511. If you want to join in to this discussion, please give us a call and then we'll loop you in. But let me go back to Honorable Murtala Mohammed, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central. Let me take you back to the Auditor General's report for 2021, which is of prime concern in the last few weeks. Have you had a chance to look at this report?
As a matter of fact, I am a member of the Public Accounts Committee, and I'm speaking to you from Takoradi, where we are looking at the last lap of the 2019 Auditor General's report and the institutional corruption that certainly can be traced to government, because government has the responsibility to ensure that those who manage the resources of the state manage it within the ambit of law. We have never had the level of misappropriation of monies reported by the Auditor General's report as what we are experiencing in the 2019 2020 report. And the people of this country will be shocked when the 2020 report is made public. So like the point I was making, it is not just about NDC, NPP. It is about the verdict given by independent institutions and bodies who do not have anything to do with NDC, who at best can be described as those who are sympathizers and friends to the NPP. The CDD Afrobarometer points to one indisputable fact, that this government is the most corrupt ever in our history. The CDD Afrobarometer has pointed out to profound corruption that we experience in our governance structure, especially under this government. And when Professor Juma Boydu was asked as to whether President Nana Addo, promised to fight corruption is something to go by, he said that the President Nana Addo's promise to fight corruption is in tactics. And I will take you a bit further. Go and read the 2017 financial statement, the budget. Every single paragraph in the 2017 budget statement talks about how this government and Nana Addo is willing to fight corruption. Mind you, it was the first budget of the NPP administration after they lied to the people of this country and used, corruption.
Honorable, let's try to use more friendly words.
Hello?
Let's try to use more friendly words. Let me just go back to that particular report. Now, if we're basing a lot of these accusations on the Auditor General's report, we can say that, these infractions in the report, we've spoken to some analysts who say it doesn't necessarily mean a loss of money. It just means that some monies have been unaccounted for. And there's a possibility that after this report, there will be some reconciliation of accounts and the monies will be relocated again. Also, if you look
First and foremost, I'm not making those conclusive statements on the basis of only the Auditor General's report. If you listen to me carefully, I am talking about the verdict given by institutions that are clothed with the capacity to determine whether a government is corrupt or not, who have conducted researches and have taken the views of the people of this country. That is the point. But I'm saying that just as the Auditor General's report is not saying clearly that people actually, stole money, it has always been the same. When the Auditor General's report was made public under the NDC, these statements were not made. This defense, rather faintly, that it doesn't mean that the people are corrupt. Those who are making those hypocritical statements today didn't say that. They land the NDC as being corrupt, even at such minimal level of misappropriation of funds. But I don't want to be distorted with the points I was making. I'm saying that if you look at the verdict given by this, look at the verdict given by Imani, the verdict given by CDD, the verdict given by IDEC, and many other independent, Transparency International, the Ghana Integrity Initiative, all these people, the verdict they have given about this government and corruption is a deplorable one. So it is not just about what the NDC says. Perhaps the NDC may want to do politics, or NPP may want to do politics. But let's take the position taken by these independent bodies. Now, you have raised the issue of the Afrobarometer. The way they are determining corruption under the NDC is the same way they determine corruption under the NPP. It is perceptional. I'm saying that the scores we had, the score in 2014, has been the highest. And mind you, the reason why in 2016 that we dropped from 48 to 43 was because of the falsehood, the lie this government told the people of this country against the NDC. But you see, take the 2017 budget statement. That was the first budget statement of this government after they lied to Ghanaians, hoodwinked Ghanaians into believing that President Nana Addo was so anti-corrupt when he is an embodiment, he's a walking corruption. Read the 2017 budget. Every single paragraph in that budget statement, this government found a way to talk about how they were going to fight corruption. Now, read the 2018 budget statement. They started moving away from the word corruption. Read 2019. And interestingly, the 2022 budget, the word corruption was mentioned once in that budget statement. Once. And in that statement, they were not talking about how they were going to fight corruption. So clearly, President Nana Addo and his entire government is corruption King Kong. It is very clear to
Honorable,
that they are so corrupt. They are not only corrupt, they are fantastically corrupt.
Honorable Mutala, this is a government that set up the office of the special prosecutor, showing clear intent to fight corruption. But before you get to that, there's someone on the line. My apologies for keeping you waiting for so long. Good evening. Right, great. I think we've lost that caller, but let me just go to Obri Boahin, who has joined us. We lost you earlier. Apologies for that. Good evening.
Good evening, my sister.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, we've been speaking with Honorable Murtala Mohammed on this subject of corruption. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the former president's remarks that he made at the Asogli State Deba.
In the water region just yesterday.
Yes, please.
Yes.
What do you make of these comments that President Akufo-Addo and his government have lost the fight against corruption?
It's quite ridiculous. You see, there is a saying that he who comes to equity must come with clean hand. And he wants to go to the shrine of equity, must be prepared to do what is equitable. Now, you see, you need to examine the structures, the institutions. Obama said it. But look, it's not a question of availability of strong men. But we need to strengthen the institutions, the structures. You have a government that has established the Office of Special Prosecutor. You've never had that since 7th January 1993. You have a government for the first time in the history of this country that has provided enough and fantastic support to track local, national investigations, and other institutions. So that is also a clear indication that this government or the NPP government is bent on supporting the fight against corruption. Look, let's even look at the digitization and digitalization system. Now, from the Auditor General's report, we can realize that some individuals who are no longer alive, but so they are being paid or monthly payments are being received in their names. But with the implementation of this digitalization, you realize that some names are being cleared from the system. I agree that as a country, it will take us some time, but I can assure you from the bottom of my heart that this is a government that has put in place adequate provision to ensure that the fight against corruption is as well attended or well considered.
Honorable, please.
As for the former president, I was playing to the gallery. I mean, we don't need to, with due respect, be wasting our time on some of these comments. Look, here is a man who I heard him raising sentiments about the Article 71, the payment of ex gratia. But I have it on authority. That former president has received no less than 12 billion Ghana cedis, a whooping 120 billion. A whooping 120 billion. And then he goes around playing to the gallery. Then you have some of his peace supporters, definitely some of the NDC MP supporters, activists and sympathizers, they'll be cheering up. So that is it. The bottom line is that this government has advanced beyond preponderance of probability. The fight against corruption. Yes, I'm listening.
Beyond the comments of the former president, we've also had some anti-corruption campaigners. I can mention some of them, Edem Senanu, Vitus Azim. They're all of the view that the country is not making any strides in the fight against corruption from the trend of the infractions that we're seeing. Are these other persons all justified or not?
Oh, I don't think they are justified. And some of these allegations. Look, I have a case pending before the Supreme Court, and it's coming on 9th November.
Right.
Some certain MPs and former MPs who were involved in double salary, members of parliament, some certain members of parliament, some former ministers. We are going to the court. The matter has been slated for 9th November, double salary. That is a very serious thing. And yet you have individuals who are even in court, they are all singing this chorus of, oh, corruption, 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 corruption. I know all the defendants in that case are members of the NDC. All the defendants in that case, which is coming on the 9th November 2022, they are all members of the NDC, high-ranking members of the party. And what moral right do they have now to be talking about corruption, corruption, corruption? So, but if it's a larger picture as a country, yes.
Mr. Boyne, it sounds like a game of equalization. Is that?
No.
Okay.
No. The larger picture, yes. I think that we need to do more. In all honesty, we need to up our game. In all honesty, in all sincerity, we need to do more. We need to up our game. If we want to fight against corruption, we are determined to fight against corruption. We need to up our game. This morning, I spoke on a network, and I said that, look, when I visited Germany last year, when a contract, a road contract is awarded, you have the signpost contract from town A to town B awarded to this company. Commencement of the work, this date. Time of reference, this date. Amount involved. They will quote the amount involved. Go to Belgium, go to Germany. They will quote the amount involved. But over here in Africa, we are not doing that. Over here in Africa, we are not doing that. This Eastern Corridor road, which the president will be going there to commission some part of the road. I mean, you cannot tell offhand the total amount of money involved. But elsewhere in Europe, they will indicate that this is the amount of money involved. And that is a clear indication that, look, we are far behind Europe in terms of the fight against corruption. We need to know. All of us want to know. We all want to know how much is involved. It should not be a matter meant for the Minister for Roads or a matter meant for members of Parliament alone. All of us.
Right.
So that is the problem we face in this country, or we face in this continent.
Mr. Boyne, I like that you say all of us, we all want to see results in this fight against corruption. There are some CSOs out there who formed a coalition asking the Auditor General to use his powers of surcharge and disallowance, which he has somehow neglected, especially for the 2021 Auditor General's report. Would you say this is the way to go?
To a certain extent, yes, but I'm surprised that they even took to the street. Okay. These CSOs, they can also go to court. Do you remember the Matadamidu and the Wyoming case?
Yes, I do.
An individual who went to court. In the case I'm conducting, the title of the case is Kwambafo Abronye. Kwambafo Abronye. An individual. My good self and my nephew. My good self and my nephew.
Okay. Without
prompting from any corner. Without the financial support from any person. Without financial support from any institution. My good self and my nephew. We are pursuing this MPs, certain MPs and former MPs. So that Occupy Ghana, they can go to court.
Okay.
Because it's a legal entity. It can sue and be sued. So now, why are they also not going to court?
I hear you. I hear you, Mr. Nana Obi-Boahen is former General Secretary of the NPP. I'm going to come back to you later on in the program, but let me go to Honorable here. Let's give him a chance to respond. Honorable, you've heard him. Why haven't we seen you going to court?
Well, first and foremost, I don't know the alacrity with which this government and its assigns will quickly tell people to go to court. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, clearly, the Afro Barometer identified the judiciary in this country to also be fantastically corrupt. Maybe perhaps that explains why they would ask people to rush to court. The court is not only the only means by which you establish whether someone is engaged in corrupt activity or not. Did I hear him say that President Mahama has received about 12 million? I thought he was going to say that President Mahama has taken illegally from the state 12 million. Even if President Mahama receives 100 million, that money was given to him legitimately by this government. So if he thinks that that money was illegitimately given to President Mahama, then the question is that show me your friend and I'll show you your character. Did I also hear him say, and you yourself, you also said that rather erroneously that the president set up the office of the special prosecutor. We have anti-corruption laws in this country. The problem we have is the ability to enforce them. What was the verdict given by Mr. Martin Amidu? He described no less a person than the president as the mother sapient for corruption.
Honorable, but what I said was the setting up of the office alone.
Description of the one who set up the office.
Yes, but
so President Muhammad didn't hold on. President Muhammad didn't set up office of the special prosecutor.
Okay.
Yet the CDD boss didn't describe his fight against corruption to be in tatters. Yet he had people within his government who were accused for engaging in corrupt acts, and those people were prosecuted. What happens to the so-called hotels president, the claim President Mahmoud? Let me give you another example. The entire MPP caucus in 2016 held a press conference at Parliament and accused Dr. Opuni for chopping $400 million of cocoa board. Have you guys asked why in the prosecution of Opuni, $400 million is not questioned, is not mentioned? So that is their trade. They come with such falsehood. They will lie just because they want power. Don't take my statement. Don't take the NDC statement. Take the statement of CDD. Take the statement of Imani. Take the statement of Occupied Ghana, which is an MPP wing. Take the statement of lawyers such as Martin Kwebu. Take the statement of Azim. Take the statement of Mary of Ghana Integrity Initiative. Take those statements. Take the statements of those in academia. This government is the most corrupt government ever in our history. And that is why I ask you, go and read the budget statement of 2017, 18, 19, 20, 22, and you realize the mention of the word corruption started reducing. The last budget, the 2022 budget, the word corruption was mentioned in it only just once. This government is unwilling to fight corruption. So this idea of that we need to do more, it takes a political will to fight it. And President Mahama, political will, when he prosecuted people, mind you, the issue of the national service, it wasn't any journalist who did any work. It was the national security. When the president was informed that something was going on there, he instructed the national security to investigate. Those who were identified were prosecuted. Honorable Abu Gapele, he was my boss. Honorable Abu Gapele has been a childhood friend of President Mahama. And they were very close at the time President Mahama was prosecuting him. Right. So don't take NDC statement. This government is the most corrupt ever in the history of this country. And I don't see any way out in finding solution to this. In fact, corruption is increasing and spreading like a prairie fire under this government. They are unwilling because the president is aware of some of the corrupt activities that are going on. Right. Every little thing go to court. Everything go to court. Why are they so interested in asking people to go to court? Why?
Right. Thank you, Honorable Murtala Mohammed. I'm just going to reiterate my question so we understand that there was no error here. My point is that as long as the Special Prosecutor's Office is operational under this government, does it not show some commitment to fighting corruption? I'll come back to you, but let me open the phone lines again. My apologies earlier. Things got quite interesting in studio, but 020-4738-481. That's the number to call. Again, 020-4738-481. And the other number is 055-033-1511. That's 055-033-1511. So do give us a call and join in on the conversation. Let me go back to the line and just go to Obiri Boahen. If you're still there, can you hear me?
Yes, my good sister.
Yes, Mr. Boahen, are we ever going to see a point at which both parties come together to try to brainstorm how to deal with this menace of corruption?
I don't think that the fight against corruption is a matter for MPP or NDC. It's a matter for all of us.
Okay.
Afghanians. Look, let's say this Kofi Kumsen versus Ajema Afro case, or Kofi Kumsen versus Ibrahim Adam case. It was an individual who went to shrine. They took the matter to shrine. And look, Ibrahim Adams and the others were found culpable.
Yes, Mr. Boahen, can you hear us? Hello, Mr. Boahen. I think we lost you there. Yes, but you did almost make your point. We're just going to try to get you back to land on that point. But let me just go back to Honorable Murtala Mohammed, who's still on the... I'm sorry. Hello? Honorable? Hello? Okay, I don't have you on the line. Mr. Boahin, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Boahin.
Yes,
Yes,
sister.
yes. Your line went off. If you can just conclude.
Exactly. Sorry. No, I was just talking about this case of Kofi Kumsen, who on his own went to court.
Okay.
He appeared before the shrine, and he won most of the cases. Martin Amidu on his own took the matter before the Supreme Court, and he had judgment. I am very Murtala. He is a man like Opribwai. I have brought some of his MPs, his colleague MPs to the Supreme Court. I, Nana Opribwai, have brought some of his colleagues to the Supreme Court for being involved in double salary. I am very him. He is a man. He should drag somebody to the Supreme Court. He should stop raving and ranting. I am saying that, look, on my own and from my own resources, I've dragged former ministers, former MPs, and some sitting MPs to court.
Right.
What is he also doing?
Right.
So you stop raving and ranting and Nana Kufado, this, and that. Look, the logistics available to the special prosecutor. It's a non-parallel in the history of this country.
Right.
What is he saying to that?
Right.
What is he saying to that?
Right. Murtala, I'll come back to you to respond soon, so give me a moment.
You need to be very careful and very courteous and stop raving and ranting.
Right.
And I'm saying that I've brought some of them. He mentioned the police case. As a lawyer, I will not run commentary on that. The police case is just coming to an end. So let me exercise a modicum of respect for the judicial system.
Mr. Boyne, let's be a little kinder with our words. But please proceed. Yeah.
Very well. But I'm saying that, look, you, Murtala, you are a legal entity. You have the right to mount action against individuals before Shirak, before the special prosecutor, or before the Supreme Court. What has he done?
Right.
What has he done?
Thank you so much.
The civil society group we are talking about, Occupy Ghana went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court directed the Auditor General to search it.
Right.
So Occupy Ghana can mount an action against individuals. Those who have been found capable in the Auditor General's report, rather than that.
Right.
I say that, look, Akoto and the high profile cases.
Right.
What is wrong if you decide to go to court to ensure that those who have been found culpable by the auditor, they are searching?
Right.
They're not doing that.
Right, Mr. Boahin, thank you so much. I would like to apologize to those watching. I see there have been a few calls, but we've not been able to come to you. My sincere apologies. Thank you, Mr. Boahin. I'll just take your last words, Murtala, and then we can be out.
Well, Mr. Boahin is daring me to go to court.
Yes, yes.
The only institution,
Mr. Boahin, let's be a little okay.
The only institution with the power to prosecute is the Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
Right.
There have been series of allegations leveled against appointees of this government. The Minister of Justice, indeed, is aware, and there have been series of petitions against appointees of this government by citizens of this country. The president is pretending not to be aware. You see, when you talk about this government fight against corruption, it is at best described as cartoon scenario reality. In the Cartoon Network, everything is possible on lips, and everything is possible on demonstration. But in natural fact, those things are not real. So that is what this government is doing. It is not about NDC, because anytime you talk about some of these things, they say, oh, NDC. Forget of what NDC said. Let's take the verdict of independent institutions and individuals. The CDD, the Imani, the Ghana Integrity Initiative, the Transparency International, the ISE comments on corruption, the comments on corruption by Ghana Integrity Initiative, and many other individuals, including he himself. The allegations he made against his own government, government and its own members. So I'm saying that it is not about what I have said. Forget of what anybody in NDC says. Let's look at the Transparency International. They went to town with the Transparency International when they rated Ghana at 43, when we were down from 48 to 43 in 2016. I am telling them, and I'm telling him, it is not about me. They should go and fight their inability to fight corruption. The lowest the NDC ever scored has been the highest of this government. If this is not a mediocre of a government that is unwilling to fight corruption, which now you talk about special prosecutor, even the current special prosecutor, find out whether they release his money. He expressed his frustrations publicly. I mean, the list said about the determination and willingness of President Nana to fight corruption, the better. In fact, the Flagstaff House has become the citadel for corruption.
Thank you so much. Honorable Murtala Mohammed is Member of Parliament, Tamale Central. We also spoke with Nana Obribwine, former General Secretary of the NPP. At least we have a consensus that we need to do more to fight corruption, and individuals as well as politicians and government need to take up that task. My name is Nuong Faalong. On behalf of everyone here at MX24 Television, I'd like to thank you for your time spent with us this evening. We'll be right here again, same time tomorrow at 5 p.m. Please join us. Good evening.